Hello, I am Sunil Podar. Hope you are doing well. In this video, we will discuss development of management thought. At some point during the development of human civilization, management has likely existed in some form or another. During shift of social and technological forces, management practices have been changing. As social, economic, political, and scientific organizations have developed, management has expanded as well. A theory of management had to be developed as a result of the Industrial Revolution's invention. To achieve its current state, management thought has undergone a number of stages. It is organized into three sections, each of which covers a distinct time period and contributors' ideology. Stages of management thought evolution. There are three stages in the evolution of management thought. The classical theory of management, the neoclassical theory, and the modern management theories. The classical theory of management. Three different lines of thinking are recognized at this stage. Bureaucratic model. In 1900, Max Weber believed that bureaucracy was the most efficient and rational. Scientific management. Around 1910, F.W. Taylor proposed this idea. Process management. Around 1910, Henry Fayol promoted functional or administrative process management. The neoclassical theory. It consists of two lines of reasoning. Human relations movement. Elton Mayo and Roethlisberger research on industrial management and work in 1930. Behavioral science movement introduced by A. Maslow and McGregor around 1940. Modern management theories. It comprises of three streams of thought. Quantitative approach, also referred to as operations research analysis, which Taylor created in 1950. System approach, Balding, Johnson and others created it after 1950. Contingency approach, created by Lawrence, Loss and others. Contemporary approach to management are created by Porter, Likert, Drucker and Prahlad. Classical approach. Despite evidence of the use of administrative approaches in handling many matters, the systematic study of management as a distinct field of activity didn't begin until the second half of the 19th century. A special instance of the application of managerial skill is the formal organization structure employed by Roman Catholic Church to enhance communication and soldier morale. Military organization have also started employing management systems. The classical approach covered in bureaucratic management, scientific management, and administrative management. Bureaucratic management. Max Weber. Bureaucratic management was given by Max Weber, a German sociologist, where he described authority-responsibility relationship. A distinct authority-responsibility relationship is another component of Max Weber's bureaucratic management model. According to Weber's concept, responsibility is the duty to carry out those judgments and directives, while authority is the power to issue orders. In a bureaucracy, power is centralized and hierarchical, with varying degree of authority at various organization levels. This indicates that orders are given, decisions are made by those at the top of the organization before being sent down the hierarchy. Weber's models make sure that decision making is efficient and centralized in this way. Weber's model also features a distinct system of accountability, wherein people and groups are held responsible for following orders and making decisions at every level of organization. This makes sure there is a clear chain of command and that jobs are finished quickly and effectively. In order to ensure that organization is effective, predictable, and free of human prejudice, Weber's bureaucratic management model emphasizes the significance of a defined authority-responsibility connection. Features of bureaucratic management. The attributes of Weber bureaucratic model are a clear authority hierarchy. There is a definite hierarchy among the numerous members of organization. Relationship between superior and subordinates grows. Superiors are responsible for monitoring the work of subordinates, and everyone knows who to turn to for directions. Tasks are assigned. Depending on the specialization, work is categorized. The people are allocated the work based on their area of specialization. There is a distinct line separating private and official concern. There is a clear difference between personal and public issues. Official matters come before anything else. The laws and rules framework. Each action is carried out according to a set of rules and standards established by the organization. Rules and regulations specify the kind of work and the work system expectation for organization members. Promotions awarded on merit. Depending on the proficiency, employees are promoted. To grow within the organization, employees are urged to perform and use resources more effectively. Evolution of the Weber's bureaucratic model. In organization where change is not expected or where the rate of change can be forecast, Weber's approach will be selected. Large corporations and government agencies employ this kind of structure. It is recognized that Weber's attempted organization classification for the first time. Weber's model has some drawbacks. It exhibits rigidity, impersonality, and excessive cost of control, and excessive reliance on superior, and a propensity to disregard organizational goals. Despite several drawbacks, this paradigm is helpful in large organizations. Bureaucracy advantages. Every job has established norms and processes, which promotes consistency in employee conduct. The management process is simplified because employees are required to abide by the rules, etc. There is no dispute about whether or not any work tasks overlap, and any potential conflicts are eliminated. Expertise and merit are the determining factors in the selection and promotions processes. It facilitates matching the appropriate people with their right jobs. Utilization of human resource is maximized. The division of labor enables people to become a specialist in their field, and employee performance significantly increases. When people leave an organization, the work is not negatively impacted. If one person leaves, another fills their position. Disadvantages of bureaucracy. There is too much red tape and paperwork in this system. There is no sense of belonging among the staff to the company. The overuse of rule, regulation, obedience to these policies prevent employees from taking initiative and developing. They are not treated like unique personnel, but more like machinery. Because the employees have grown so accustomed to the system, they are resistant to change and the implementation of new operational approaches. Scientific management. F.W. Tyler. Frederick Wilson Tyler created scientific management, commonly referred to as Taylorism, as a management theory in late 19th and early 20th centuries. In order to increase productivity and efficiency, the idea places a strong emphasis on the use of scientific research methodologies to examine labor processes. Tyler's scientific management theory's foundational idea include Tyler promoted the use of scientific techniques to evaluate and improve work processes, including time and motion study. Tyler felt that dividing jobs into smaller, more specialized components would boost production and efficiency. Tyler firmly felt that most productive people should be chosen and given the proper training for a given job. Tyler promoted the use of clear goals and objectives for both managers and employees to make sure that everyone knew what was expected of them. Early in 20th century, Tyler's scientific management theory had a significant impact, especially in manufacturing and industrial contexts. It has, however, also drawn criticism for prioritizing effectiveness over employees' liberty and innovation. Overall, Tyler's scientific management theory places less emphasis on interpersonal relationship and employee welfare and more emphasis on the effectiveness of the work process and the optimization of each and every task through scientific studies and data analysis. Scientific management can be studied in two parts: principle of scientific management and elements of scientific management. Principles of scientific management. Tyler provided the guidelines for scientific management. Tyler argued that Scientific procedures should be take the place of common sense. The scientific method delivers precision, whereas the rule of thumb emphasizes guesswork. Prior to beginning any project, it should be carefully planned. Tyler advised work study to cut out pointless processes, standardization of tools and equipment, scientific staff selection, and differential piece rate system to incentivize employees for improved performance. Cooperation. The idea of cooperation was put further to promote teamwork between employees and management, as well as among individuals alone. Tyler advised that management and employees' ways of thinking alter. Both parties should work to build trust, cooperation, and goodwill between them. In Tyler's word, replacing war with peace, hearty and brotherly cooperation for contentment and strife, replacing suspicious watchfulness with mutual confidence, and turning into friends instead of enemy. Worker development. Employees plays a significant part in scientific management. All plans for increasing output can only be carried out with the help of workforce. In this context, Tyler emphasized the need of workers to grow in order to adapt to changing work practices. The personnel should be chosen, assigned, developed using science. He advocated training employees on the job to help them fully comprehend the work processes. For the personnel to be able to adapt to the changing times, regular development is necessary. Maximum output. The entire scientific management concepts promotes greater productivity and production. Tyler sought to update the outdated production processes in order to boost production rates. Tyler was opposed to any reduction in production, whether it came from the worker or the management. He recommended that both parties attempt to raise access by increasing production. Workload distribution. Management and employees should share the workload and accountability. The management should plan, organize, and supervise the work while leaving the people free to do their jobs. Elements of scientific management. Tyler advocated the elements of scientific management. Work study. Work study involves analyzing the work that need to be done, removing any unnecessary steps, and determining the fastest way to complete it. Work study reduces efforts, gets rid of unproductive and unneeded processes, and boosts output. Standardization of tools and equipment. Scientific management included the standardization of instruments and equipment as a key component. Tyler merely wants to employ the finest manner to execute the work. For the work to be completed more quickly, certain tools and equipments are required. Scientific selection, placement, and training. The kind of people chosen for particular professions has an impact on both the speed and quality of the work. Tyler favored a significant revision of the procedures and methods using in hiring personnel. When choosing employees, employers should take into account their training, experience, and work ethics. Only the most qualified individual should be given the job when placing employees. Placement should be on merit, which subtly implies square pegs in squares hole. Workers should receive training to prepare them for their employment. In order to prepare them for new difficulties, orientation training should be also given. The introduction of functional foremanship. Tyler promoted the idea of functional foremanship. He believed that the responsibility of planning and designing should be lifted off the plant managers and employees. The application of the notion of specialization or the division of labor to the field management is also known as functional foremanship. Tyler believes that the two activities of doing and planning should be separated. The job planning and the worker teaching sections should be focused on the planning section. Tyler identified 8 functional specialists, the first 4 associated with planning work and the following 4 with shop work. Tyler aimed to improve the efficiency of manufacturing department's operation by separating the job in this way. Functional foremanship hasn't been used in practice and has been found unrealistic. Introduction of costing system. It is another crucial aspect of scientific management. Cost accounting is a tool for scientific management and is used for things like to outline costs for the cost cutting and cost control, to make cost estimation and budget planning possible, to maximize effectiveness and minimize waste, to guide production in the proper directions. Mental revolution. Tyler's main goal was to fundamentally alter how employees and management viewed one another. A scientific approach implies a major change in how issues with the managerial control and job performance are addressed. Workers believed that management was taking advantages of them by assigning them the difficult tasks and paying them meager wages. But management was concerned because employees frequently complained about their workload, followed the go slow policy, damaged equipment, and showed disregard for the quality of the goods they produced. To adopt systematic thinking, this attitude of skepticism needed to be overcome. Tyler stressed the need of management and employee cooperation and the undertaking. So, for an organization to function better, both workers and management have to be undergo a mental revolution. Contribution of Frank and Lillian Gilbert. Significant contribution to scientific management were made by Lillian and Frank Gilbert. They have made particular contributions to motion study, a crucial component of scientific management. Under the heading of motion study, a thorough investigation of workers, movements, and machine operations was conducted. Some employee motions might be minimized at work. Man's effort can be minimized by combining some actions with other motions. Frank Gilbert discovered during an experiment that a mason needs to make 18 moves to lay a single brick. This could be cut down to 5 and in some circumstances only 2 by eliminating extraneous motion. Performance may be increased and efficiency may increase if employees spend less time on superfluous motions. Additionally, to conducting a time study, Gilbert's also study motion. A worker's average completion time is guaranteed under the time study method. The systematic regulation of motion and time was substantially aided. Contribution of Henry L. Gantt to scientific management. F. W. Tyler's close friend Henry L. Gantt made an effort to enhance the Tyler's system of pay. He created a task and a bonus plan for employees. A benchmark for completing a task was established for employees under this plan. For standard time or more, all employees are guaranteed a minimum salary. When a worker works less than the required amount of time, they are paid time wages plus bonuses. This strategy follows. A deadline is set for finishing the work. A worker who takes standard or more time is paid an hourly rate. For finishing the assignment faster than expected, a bonus of 25% to 50% is given. In addition, Gantt has advised that if the assignment is finished faster than expected, the supervisors should also receive a bonus. Another recommendation made by Gantt was for the workers' performance to be made public. Performance bars with separate inks for those taking less time and those taking more than average time should be used to display this information. Motivating productive employees and discouraging ineffective ones were the goals. Contribution of Harrington Emerson. In 1910, Emerson and F. W. Tyler Associate created an efficiency plan. 12 Principles of Efficiency, a book he wrote, was released in 1912. For calculating employee pay, he developed the Emerson Efficiency Plan. Workers were given a time-based wage guarantee, and those who met the efficiency standards receive a wage plus bonus. In accordance with this arrangement, a worker achieving up to 66% or two-thirds efficiency received only the minimum wage, and the bonuses were only given when the efficiency exceeded this threshold. With an increase in efficiency, the rate of bonus increased. In order to gain more money in form of bonuses, this plan was designed to encourage employees to perform better than expected. With rising inefficiency, bonuses were being paid out at faster rate. The wage difference system that F.W. Tyler proposed as a mean of rewarding effective workers was enhanced by this efficiency plan. Evolution of scientific management. It is important to study the benefits or advantages and criticism of scientific management. Importance or benefit of scientific management. The goal of scientific management is to maximize each person's productivity and prosperity. It makes it possible to boost prosperity, enhance production and productivity while lowering production costs. The primary benefits of scientific management are an improvement in output and productivity. Task planning and scientific work practices are part of the scientific management framework. Because of higher efficiency, there is an increase in production, both per worker and each machine. A decrease in production costs. Scientific management guarantees that all losses, wastages are prevented. Production is planned and production time is kept to minimum. The result is decrease in production costs. The economies of scale further lower the cost of production per unit. Higher standard goods. Standardization, a crucial component of scientific management, guarantees higher quality goods. Rewards of labor division. The division of labor's advantages can be realized thanks to the specialization principle that scientific management has adopted. The process is streamlined and completed in the most cost-effective way possible. Cooperation between management and labor. Scientific management aims to alter the attitude of both management and employees. It plays a key role in fostering productive collaboration between employees and the management, eliminating the root of labor disputes. Appropriate employee selection and training. The right selection, placement, and recruitment of employees is one of the key components of scientific management. Misfits are avoided and the ideal candidate is given the position. Improved workplace conditions, better working circumstances such as appropriate working hours, rest breaks, ventilation, lighting, floor spaces, safety, etc. are provided to employees via scientific management. Better resource utilization. Scientific management promotes the best use of all resources by eliminating superfluous movements of people and machinery, eliminating waste, encouraging labor to work efficiently and effectively, supervising all sorts of resources. Salary increases. Due to differential salary incentive programs proposed by scientific management proponents, efficient workers receive higher pay. Under the scientific management scheme, the workers' standard of living is raised by the higher pay. Consumer gains. Due to advantages of scientific management, consumers gain from higher quality items being made available at lower costs. They are able to live at higher standards. As a result, benefits to the community or country. The general community gains a lot from scientific management. It guarantees industrial peace, higher output, maximum prosperity, an increase in national wealth, higher living standards, and swift industrial progress, among other things. Gains for the owners or investors. Large-scale production, cost-cutting, or increased productivity all result in higher profit for the owners or investors. Administrative management. Henry Fayol. Administrative approach was advocated by Henry Fayol. He is also called Father Administrative Management. Henry Fayol was French mining engineer and management theorist who lived in late 19th and early 20th centuries. He is considered the father of modern management theory and is best known for his work on administrative management. He is credited with developing the 5 functions of management. His contribution may be classified under 3 categories. Classification of business activities, functions of management, principle of management. Classification of business activities. Classification of business activities. According to Henry Fayol, management is a skill that all human efforts in the family, workplace, or government share. He classified all company operations into 6 categories: tech-related activities, production, business pursuits, buying, selling, and exchange, activities related to finance, search for an optimum use of capital, security measures, protection of property and person, accounting operations, including statistics, and management. The final of this, management action, according to Fayol, was far by the most significant and required the most focus. Functions of management. Henry Fayol's 14 principles of management are: division of work, specializing tasks to increase efficiency, authority and responsibility, clear delegation of authority and accountability, discipline, maintaining order and sense of responsibility among employees, unity of command, employees having one direct supervisor, unity of direction, aligning effort towards a common goal, subordination of individual interests, prioritizing the organization interests over individual ones, remuneration, providing fair compensation, centralization, concentrating decision-making power in a central authority, scalar chain, establishing a clear chain of command, orders, having necessary materials, equipment, and personnel in the right place at the right time, equity, fair treatments of employees, stability of tenure, providing long-term job security, initiative, encouraging employees to think creatively and propose new ideas, esprit de corps, promoting unity and team spirit among employees. This principle provide a framework for effective management and are still widely used for management in organization. Evaluation of administrative management. Importance. Significant contribution to management theory were made by Henry Fayol. These are some examples of his contribution. Fayol argued in favor of universality of management, ideas and tenets. It is possible to distribute authority but not responsibility. Managers are created, not born. A manager's area of responsibility cannot be larger than work should be done. Members of organization should understand their respective level of authority. Criticism. Some academics disagreed with Henry Fayol's writings. They brought up the issues. Henry Fayol's theory is founded on his own professional experiences. His studies, facts and findings were not disclosed. No empirical research has been done to support administrative theory. Fayol presents certain principles that are incompatible with one another. Division of labor is incompatible with the unity of command idea. Employees were not given enough consideration. Despite criticism, Henry Fayol's contribution and the management concepts and duties he outlined are still relevant today. The administrative mechanism revolutionized the management process. Comparison between Taylor and Fayol. Henry Fayol and F.W. Taylor both made contribution to management science. Both of these pioneers' works have aspects that comparable to and different from one another. Urwick has summarized 2 contributions as follows. Of course, Taylor and Fayol's work has mostly complementary. They both came to the realization that the management of the people issues at all levels is essential to the success of an industry. Both approached this issue using the scientific methods. The fact of the Fayol focused on the managing director and worked downward, while Taylor focused mostly on the operative level, was simply a reflection of their extremely distinct professional paths. Consequently, is a summary of similarities and difference between the two. Similarity. They both recognized the applicability of management. Both used scientific approaches to address management related issues. They both understood the value of managing staff at all levels. Each wished to enhance the management strategy. Both of them used real world experience to create their concepts. They both used their books to communicate their opinion. They both emphasized the importance of employers and employees working together. Dissimilarity. Fayol centered on the duties of manager at highest level, whereas Tyler's worked on the issues on the shop floor. Tyler focused on the chief executive and moved downward in the corporate structure, whereas Fayol focused on the top. Tyler's key objectives were to boost labor productivity and reduce waste. A general philosophy of management was something Fayol tried to create, whereas Fayol referred to his work as a general theory of administration. Tyler referred to his philosophy of work as scientific management. Fayol is credited as being the father of management principle, while Tyler is known as the father of scientific management. While Fayol management concepts have withstood the test of time and are widely recognized even now, Tyler's philosophy has experienced a significant modification as a result of modern advances. In comparison to Tyler, Fayol views management from a more global perspective. Neoclassical approaches. The neoclassical approaches to the management are a group of theories that emerged in the early 20th century as a response to the classical approaches developed by the figures such as Tyler and Fayol. The neoclassical approaches emphasized the human aspect of management, recognizing that employees have individual needs, motives, and goals that must be considered in order to achieve organizational objectives. The main theorists of neoclassical approaches are Alton Mayo, Abraham Maslow, Douglas McGraw, and Herbert Simon. They developed theories such as human relations approach, the Hawthorne studies, the Maslow hierarchy of need, theory X and Y, and administrative behavior. The neoclassical approaches have provided an important counterbalance to the classical approaches, highlighting the importance of understanding and motivating employees in order to achieve organizational goals. This approach focuses more on human behavior, attitude, values, and motivation. Human relations approach. The human relations movement focuses on elements that support workers' increased performance. In addition to financial reward, better working environment, shorter work days, and improved employee relations all contribute to the higher production. The fundamental focus of the human relations approach was giving humans importance. Who invented this strategy? Alton Mayo, an American who was born in Australia, moved to the United States and started working for Harvard University. Later on, at the Harvard Graduate School of Business Studies, he was appointed professor of the industrial research. His main area of interest was individual working in an organization. His publications, The Social Problems of an Industrial Civilization and The Human Problems of an Industrial Civilization, are both highly read. Alton Mayo and his collaborators made significant contribution to the human relations approach, and Mayo is appropriately referred to as father of the human relations movement. The Hawthorne Studies project, for which Mayo is famous, is the subject of his study. In 1927, a thorough inquiry was launched at the Western Electric Company Hawthorne plant, which is close to the Chicago. These studies were carried out to ascertain the impact of improved physical amenities on laborers' productivity. The personnel was subjected to a variety of tests to determine how various circumstances affected their efficiency. Mayo was the first who argued for the recognition of workers' issue in the context of advancement of science and technology. He desired that manager recognize the issue facing employees and take action to address them. He and his colleagues made the points. employees were not just cogs in the machine. Employees' morale, both individually and collectively, may have a big impact on the production. By recognizing that people are fundamentally social creatures and not just economic beings, managers should take a more people-oriented approach to the management. Because they are social beings, they are a part of group. So management should be aware of this when coming up with answers to common issues. The lack of robust and scientific study in Hawthorne tests was criticized. For generalization to be appropriate, the experiments were too limited. Regardless of these discoveries, Mayo's study marked a significant shift in management theory. The conclusions were drawn from Hawthorne research. Social factors had noticeable effect on workers' productivity. Informal work groups significantly affect output and attitude. The informal group leaders who are well liked by those groups have a greater impact on how the workers act. A good communication system is essential for improved understanding between management and employees. The experiments demonstrated the need for a balanced strategy for the entire problems. Evaluation of human relations approach. The human relations approach had focused on human factors than on production factors pursued by classical thinkers. The importance and limitation of human relations approach may be discussed as importance and contribution. There are some contributions made by the human relations approach. There is no association between productivity and working conditions. Non-economic rewards have an impact on employees' productivity. Democratic leadership is more effective than production-oriented leadership. The workplace is also a social organization that gives employee satisfaction. It is important to comprehend the psychology of the employees. The decision-making process should involve the employees. It is important to uphold the honor and the dignity of workers. Work breaks should be properly scheduled throughout working hours. Group work increases employees' happiness. Limitations. Human relations strategy has drawbacks. This method emphasizes the human component more while ignoring other factors. Employees in an organization do create social groupings, but not families. Non-monetary rewards may not satisfy all employees. It might not be possible to assume that everyone is satisfied in formal gatherings. The human relations strategy has taken into account employees' emotions and goals while they are employed by an organization. This strategy raised awareness about how happy employees can perform better and be more fulfilled at work. Behavioral sciences movement. Behavioral science movement is regarded as a further refinement of human relations movement. It covered wider aspects in interpersonal roles and responsibility. It laid emphasis on the application of the method and finding of the general and social psychology and sociology for understanding the organization behavior. The important aspect of the behavioral approach were motivation of employees for improving productivity, organization as a social system, leadership study of managerial behavior, communication for better understanding in the organization, employee development, upgrading of employee and managerial skill. The contributors to this thinking of management included Abraham Maslow, Douglas McGill, Rancy Linkert, Chester Bernard. Their contributions are discussed as follows. Abraham Maslow, an eminent US psychologist, gave a general theory of motivation known as need hierarchy. Theory is in this paper published in 1943. According to him, people have wide range of needs which motivate them to work. Human needs can be classified into different categories. Human needs can be arranged into hierarchy. Human beings start satisfying their needs step by step. A satisfied need does not motivate human behavior. Douglas McGrew, professor and social psychologist. McGrew worked at Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States. He was a recognized expert on personal relations. The notion on motivation that McGraw created is well known. He designated it as a theory X and Y. Theory X stands for the conventional and constrained understanding of human nature. According to theory X, a majority of workers are unmotivated and lazy. He lacks ambition, shies away from accountability, and prefers to be guided. In several cases, production rose when control and compulsion were absent. McGraw's responses to such circumstances was theory Y. According to this idea, people are naturally lazy, as theory X suggests. Rather, how they are treated within the organization cause them to be so. To people, working is as common as having fun and sleeping. Self-control and self-discipline will be displayed by them. People are willing to take responsibility when the circumstances are right. Francis Likert. Likert served as Institute of the Social Sciences Director in Michigan, USA. With the aid of 40 researchers, he carried out significant research on leadership for the 14 years. He believed that low morale and low production were caused by traditional job-focused management. He recommended using participatory management while making decisions. Chester I. Bernard. New Jersey Bell Telephone Company's president was Chester Bernard. He also participated in numerous other organizations. His writing significantly impacted how people are organized. He used a sociological lens to approach his organization theory, and when he addressed the duties of CEOs, he placed a strong emphasis on communication and leadership. Formal and informal organization was separated by Bernard. According to him, a significant component of formal organization is informal organization. We will continue modern management approaches in next coming video.